Welcome back to Next Gen Console Watch, our show following all the news and rumors on next gen hardware. I'm Daemon Hatfield. This show very often covers things like the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, but today we're talking the Steam Deck. By the time you're watching this, the review embargo for that device is up. I believe IGN's review in progress will be out in the wild. So, as always, I'm joined by Ryan McCaffrey, host of IGN's Xbox podcast, Podcast Unlocked, but also executive editor of Previews.
Good to see you, Damon.
And we are joined by a very special guest today from Valve, the designer from Valve, Lawrence Yang. Lawrence, thank you so much for stopping by the show here.
Yeah, glad to be here.
So congratulations. I believe this is considered launch day for the Steam Deck, and the people who were first in line way back late summer to reserve their units, they're actually able to purchase them for real now, and those are actually going to be shipped out momentarily. Is that right, Lawrence?
Yeah, that's right. On, I guess today, we're sending the first batch of emails out to folks, and we're doing it in the order that folks reserved them in. So the first batch will be going out momentarily. Folks will get 72 hours to complete their purchase, and we'll start shipping those out on Monday. We expect people to get them in hand starting on Tuesday.
I'm happy to see the Steam Deck finally getting out there in the wild. It's a very cool device to me. Ryan, you were at the sort of like the very announcement of this whole thing. I believe you had like yourself a nice little exclusive and got to try it out very early on. Is that right?
Yeah, we had the privilege of getting to go up to Valve during a lull in the pandemic there over the summer and spent time with Lawrence, a couple days with Lawrence and the team at Valve and the Steam Deck itself, which I love PC gaming. I always have. And this is like a dream device where it's just everything on the go. You're pick up your save games, pick up everything. And, we learned a lot from our trip to Valve. And one of the things that I think a lot of people were concerned about from looking at pictures of it were going to be the ergonomics. And from my experience, actually using it was a perfectly wonderful ergonomic experience. And now that you guys have had You're here at the finish line of development and the things going out in the wild. How good have you gotten at first-person shooters on the deck? Using your thumbstick for your WASD movement and using that touchpad for mouse look? Because I spent a little time with it at Valve and I started to get a little bit of a feel, but I imagine you and the team are getting pretty proficient on the deck at this point.
Definitely. Especially when you're able to use gyro controls, it makes a huge world of difference for the just fine motor control and just being able to aim very, very close up. The funny thing is, like, before Steam Deck, I actually was only keyboard mouse player. I'm terrible at controllers. I was the kid when everyone was playing GoldenEye, and I was getting sick in the corner and just terrible, just getting lost in a different part of the map. But now with Steam Deck, like, I'm actually using the controllers all the time. I'm actually beating games that I never beat before, like Hades. I'm doing runs all the time. It was a game that I bounced off before, but now that I have it on Steam Deck, it's great. And it's a device that's really changed my relationship with PC gaming. Would be one way to put it.
So the Steam Deck's going to begin shipping now. I believe Ryan and I are both in the same boat. Our place in line is after Q2, I believe. So later this year. What's the supply situation looking like for the Steam Deck now? I know it was delayed just a little bit from its initially planned December date. How's your supply looking right now?
Yeah, I mean, we had to delay for supply chain reasons. Those continue to be issues, but we are surmounting them. We imagine that the launch is going to ramp in production terms. It'll ramp very quickly. In the first month, very quickly, we'll be in the tens of thousands. By the second month, we'll be in the hundreds of thousands. And beyond that, it'll grow even quicker. So once we launch, the after Q2 time slot will become more granular and clear. And we'll be updating those dates for folks who are in that window as we go. So look for that.
Lawrence, I know obviously the demand, you guys have said the demand was larger than what you guys were anticipating. Is there any chance I can squeeze a number out of you for how many total pre-orders Valve has for the Steam Deck?
Not today. We're not talking numbers today.
And when is it north of 1 million?
Not talking numbers today. We're actually very pleasantly. We're really happy with the numbers we've gotten on reservations, especially given that a lot of the reservations people are putting in right now are, there's not very much information about when they'll get it. So it's great to see that the demand is there. It's helped us to determine our production schedules to meet demand. especially as we expand to other regions. So we're all super excited, really pleased with numbers, and really excited to start getting these into people's hands.
So the list of games that are supported by the Steam Deck is always expanding. Of the big games that aren't currently compatible with the deck, are you working with those developers? 343 is a developer that comes to mind. Are you working with them to get their games onto the Steam Deck?
We're in touch with a lot of the developers to try to get them supported on deck. Yeah, we really want to make sure that that as many of the games that people are playing on a regular basis are compatible with deck, whether it's on our end with Proton bugs or on developer and with helping them to enable anti-cheat.
And Lauren, similarly, I know you talked when me and my team visited Valve about, it's a PC. You can load Windows onto it if you want to. You can do anything you can do on a PC. As launch happens now, and as this thing gets out into the wild and becomes its own beast, I mean, are there any plans to sort of work with the Microsofts, the Epics, et cetera, of the world to more sort of formally, natively support things like, say, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that stuff, interestingly enough, it just works out of the box anyway. So, for instance, if you want to do cloud gaming, you can do that through Chrome. You can add Chrome as an app on the desktop, and you can access it from the Deck UI. You add it as a non-Steam shortcut. So we have people who are just playing streaming games that way. Currently, it requires keyboard and mouse due to we're waiting on a patch for Chrome. Hopefully, by the time this airs, is actually in. But at that point, you'll be able to have native controls in the Chrome browser using the Deck gamepad playing cloud streaming games. We've definitely been in touch with a lot of the major players, and we just want to make sure people can do the things they want to do on it.
And then similarly, Lawrence, I know you guys have spoken to this before. As well as anyone Valve's track record with Valve hardware.
Mm-hmm.
Are there, kind of what have been the lessons learned from those projects that will help people feel confident that the Steam Deck is going to be fully supported and embraced by Valve for the long term?
Sure. I think, well, first of all, I'd like to kind of clarify one misconception. I think when something I've heard brought up is Steam Link and Steam Controller, people say that it's not supported. It's actually not true. We are shipping updates and bug fixes and software updates for those devices all the time. Just because it's not manufactured anymore doesn't mean that we're not continuing to support it for people who already own those devices. So from that standpoint, we will continue to support all of our devices from a software perspective. From a hardware perspective, I think we really do look at Steam Deck as kind of like, really, it's a new category, a handheld PC gaming device, where we not only see this as a multi-generational device where we're going to continue making it and iterating on it and moving forward, but we see other manufacturers also making similar devices. And we, if they want to have SteamOS 3 on it, we're happy to provide it. And it'd be great to see more of these devices in the wild.
So there are 3 SKUs of the Steam Deck available now, but cosmetically they're all the same, identical. It is a very sharp-looking device. But have you thought about offering the Steam Deck in different colors? I think personally, I could see it in white. I could see it in that sort of translucent purple of the old N64 days.
Yeah, we saw
there
those.
Talks about different
Oh yeah, I mean, we tried a whole bunch of different things. I mean, I think you can actually see a few of them right here. Cool. A lot of different options for colors have always been in the mix. We know that we wanted to start with one, and in the future, we've looked at offering different colorways. But right now, we're pretty focused on just being able to meet customer demand for the one that we've made before we start really pushing into other options.
We got a couple more before we'll let you go here, Lawrence. I'm curious, you mentioned Hades, but what else? What have you been playing on your Steam Deck? Any games that you thought might not be necessarily the best fit on the deck, but it turns out they're just super fun to play on it?
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing a lot of the roguelikes and platformers are definitely a great fit for it. Hello Games actually just released an update recently to make No Man's Sky very Steam Deck compatible, and I've actually been playing that, and it's great on Steam Deck. I am having a really good time playing through that game again. on my couch, which is great.
Nice.
I spent all day at my computer already, so it's nice to be able to take a gaming device and sit on the couch to play.
And then in regards to the Steam Deck dock, I believe you gave an update earlier this week that the current plan is for the dock to start shipping in late spring. Is that right?
We wanted to ship with Steam Deck ideally, but it just wasn't able to happen in time. So we just wanted to give that quick update so folks knew.
Well, Lawrence, thanks for taking the time. Congrats on the official launch of the Steam Deck. I am very excited for it, even though both Ryan and I are a little bit further down the wait list. Excited to get one later this year. Before we go, everybody, we've got the results of last episode's poll. We asked you, are you playing the next-gen version of Cyberpunk now that it's out in the wild? And yeah, the winning percentage, 32% of you said, yes, you are jumping back in. Ryan, does that include you? I would if I weren't knee-deep in Horizon right now.
Yeah, it's not at the top of my list, but I have a save file started on PC, which was next gen from the jump. So I need to get back into it now that there have been updates. Yeah. Lawrence, I imagine that that Cyberpunk has been a popular test case around the team on the Steam Deck.
Yeah, it runs great. It's one of the ones where it really pushes limits, and it's really surprising when it just works out of the box on Steam Deck.
That's great to hear.
Love it.
Maybe when I get my Steam Deck, maybe that's when I'll jump into Cyberpunk. A poll for you to vote on for next week. If you pre-ordered a Steam Deck, where are you in line? Hopefully you're not as deep into it as Ryan and I are. Make sure to vote at IGN.com. We'll share the results with you next episode. And that will do it for this edition of Next Gen Console Watch. Thank you so much to Lawrence for joining us today. Thank you to Ryan. Thanks. Thank you to Alan working behind the scenes to make this episode possible. We'll be back next week, 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern with more Next Gen hardware news. My name is Daemon Hatfield. We'll see you then.